This game's music is so snazzy. I absolutely love it. Anyway, hey y'all, how you doing? Welcome to Tyrion Cuthbert, Attorney of the Arcane, episode 4. So I think in this one, either we're continuing on with the investigation or it's trial day 2. I think it might be about to be trial day 2. And I'm very excited. Gonna try and say Celeste. So let's get into the gameplay, y'all, without any further ado. Oddlydew. Makes me happy playing this. Alright, it's time. Hello, Cuthbert. Oh, hi, Miss Tamura. You're a lot less jumpy than you were yesterday. I'm glad to see you're finally getting used to things. So what did you find in your investigation? I'm so happy to be playing this. Feels like it's been forever. You tell Miss Tamura about everything you've learned over your investigation. There aren't a lot of clues that point to what actually happened. Yeah, I know a lot of details about the crime scene, but nothing about the crime itself. This means I'll have to rely solely on pointing out contradictions. Oh god, I'm going to be absolutely awful at this bit. I'm rubbish at it in Ace Attorney. In the witnesses' testimonies. Being reactive to the prosecution's moves is a valid strategy. Honestly, I think it was a miracle you got the commander to cooperate with you at all. Thanks. Right, you almost forgot. Commander White appears to really have it out for Miss Tamura. Actually, I wanted to ask about that. Did something happen between you and Commander White? I keep forgetting because I'm just so used to calling him Orem that I'm like, who's Commander White? Who the hell is that? Miss McCoy, please proceed to the courtroom with your counsel. Saved by the bailiff. Let's go, Tyrion. Trial's about to start. You should go. The judge is waiting. Right. Another secret left buried beneath you two, between you two. Yet another one. Like we haven't got enough already. I need to move this mouse out of the way. I always leave it in the way every single episode. Court is now resumed for the trial of Celeste McCoy. Let us review the proceedings from yesterday. Yesterday, the defense presented some shocking oversights made during the investigation. Yes, I personally saw to it that the investigation was conducted properly at this time. I see. I suppose that puts my mind at ease. At yesterday's trial, we found an inconsistency between the crime scene photo and the autopsy report. Because of this, the defense tried to push the following narrative: that a third party must have interfered with the crime scene to frame the defendant. The staff, don't Nanny McPhee me, please. That staff. However, the prosecution has discovered another explanation. Because of that, the individual who discovered the body would like to testify as to what he saw that night. No, this is going to be the butler, who's obviously in on it. His eyewitness account will clear up what actually happened. Interesting. It was my understanding that the individual in question wanted to remain anonymous. Supposedly, this witness was within the gallery of the trial yesterday. After yesterday's proceedings, he felt he couldn't stay silent any longer. So that's her plan. So she's got him to come and talk now. But why would the witness change his mind like that? Did Stillwind persuade him, or is something else happening here? Very well. Let's hear from this witness. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the court. My name is Reese Reginald Rudolph. God's sake. I am a chauffeur of the equine variety? Equine? No idea. I'm terribly sorry, but I'm unfamiliar with that profession. I thought he was apologizing because his job is crap or something. He means to say that he's a carriage driver. Oh, I see. But in any case, it is my understanding that you found the body. Am I correct, Mr. Rudolph? Rudolph appears to be writing something in a notebook. Yeah, because you really need to check for that. I don't know why, but this guy's giving me kind of like Connor from How to Get Away with Murder vibes. Has anyone seen that show? Freaking amazing show. I'm only on like series 2. And shit is insane. No, series 3. Shit is insane. He writes with incredible speed. His pen only touches the paper, excuse me, for maybe a second before he's filled an entire page. Mr. Rudolph? Ah, forgive me. I was merely taking notes on the people in this room. Why? Taking notes? The witness has a certain compulsion to keep a record of every event that he witnesses. That's not an eidetic memory. He's got to write it down to remember. I see. Because I remember him saying he's got an eidetic memory. Then I assume we will receive an accurate testimony of how you found the body? Actually, I witnessed much more than that. I saw the crime as it was being committed. And I wrote down everything that I saw. What? That is quite the claim. If that's true, why did you choose to remain silent until now? We had initially concluded that the evidence alone was decisive enough. Therefore, we saw no need at the time for his testimony. Likely story. However, those circumstances clearly changed during yesterday's trial. There's no way the prosecution wouldn't leverage eyewitness testimony from the start. Something else is happening here. She knows that that guy did it, the Pierce dude, and she's still trying to defend him. I hate it when that happens. Mr. Rudolph, please testify to the court about what you saw that night. Here we go. This is the bit that we've actually got to try and break apart. I was transporting a client in my carriage that evening. We were driving by the McCoy Tavern when we heard a disturbance. This occurred at 1:28 AM. Worried that something was amiss, I walked into the establishment to see what the commotion was about. There, I saw the defendant. She was lit by the blue glow of the dining room lights, and she had stabbed Flintheart McCoy and was channeling magic into her sword. She removed her sword from Flintheart's chest, and as he slowly turned to face her, she stabbed him again in the front. Great, trying to cover this bit up, I see. She soon realised that I had witnessed her heinous crime. She let the body fall to the ground and fled the scene. Likely story. Incredible. If everything occurred as the witness described, then I see no room for debate. You gotta prove it, love. Of course, the evidence has always been irrefutable. You don't remember seeing him when you went to look for Celeste, but it was pretty dark. Celeste, did you see this man that night? No. This is my first time meeting him, and I didn't see him when I ran out of the tavern that night. So, he has to be lying. Does that mean that he's the one who killed my dad? Okay, we can't be getting into this right now. She tries her best to hide it, but you can sense her restlessness. She's gonna, like, lunge across the courtroom. No, it's hard to say right now, but it's definitely a possibility. The defense may now begin their cross-examination. I hate this bit. Just realised my camera's in the totally wrong place. We go up here for this game. That's a little bit better. I was transporting a client in my carriage that evening. Okay, what have we got to even present? Oops. Oh. There you go. The lotus bottle. What time did he die? No time of death? Of course not. Okay, I don't know what we can present against him. Oops. We were driving by the McCoy Tavern. This occurred at 1:28 AM. I'm going to press this. I'm assuming this disturbance was the argument between my client and her father. I heard two voices, one young female and one gruff male. Presumably these were the voices of Celeste and Flintheart McCoy. Right, that matches up with what their neighbours heard too. What did you do after hearing this disturbance, Mr. Rudolph? Worried that something was amiss, I walked into the establishment to see what the commotion was about. She was lit by the blue glow of the dining room lights. The lights went on. This one. McCoy Inn is outfitted with several lamps, however the arcane power cell has been broken for weeks. Objection! Bish! Mr. Rudolph, you testified that you saw my client murdering the victim. And you supposedly saw her casting magic while doing so. I'd never forget such a grisly sight. That moment was burned into my memory. I see. Well, it's funny that you say that. How so? I can imagine, like, the voice crack in his voice because your entire testimony was a complete lie. What? Are you accusing the witness of perjury? Surely you know that such accusations can't be made lightly, Mr. Cuthbert. My accusation is far from baseless. Prosecutors still win. Oh my god, I can't speak. Take a look at this report. The dining room lights are artificial. I'm not even going to try and say that word. Devices that are powered by an arcane power cell. However, that same arcane power cell was broken during the time of the murder. The dining room lights had no energy and the room would have been pitch black. The witness couldn't have seen anything, much less a homicide. Well, wait, I can explain. There's no need, witness. You could have easily seen another source of light. Perhaps one of the McCoys lit a candle? Because of the blackout? The witness clearly described a source of blue light. A candle or lantern wouldn't emit a colour like that. Then the witness was clearly mistaken. Admit it. The witness records everything he sees in his notebook. He even remembers the exact times of each event occurring. So why would he be incorrect about such a clear and obvious detail? You think you've got them cornered and then something happens. No, what the witness saw was clearly some form of magic. And due to the lack of power, it couldn't have been artifice. It must have been an arcane spell. That's it. What is it, witness? I must have made an incorrect assumption. Please allow me to revise my testimony. Sure. What do you think of this, Prosecutor Steelwind? If the witness wants to revise his testimony, then I see no harm in obliging him. And you, Mr. Cuthbert? If he thinks he saw something different, it's only fair to hear him out. I thought I said you're tearing up. Because we were so close. You'll tear through each of his lies, no matter what he does. Okay. How are you going to change it? He looks like one of my ex-boyfriends as well. I remember now. Yesterday it was revealed that Flintheart was killed using magic. I must have seen Flintheart's daughter channeling a magic spell. The spell was called Mage Blade, am I correct? Sure. That's it. The blue glow. Nope, it causes a yellow glow. The blue glow that I saw must have been created by Mage Blade. I see. So the blue light that you saw came from the defendant's magic. Mr. Cuthbert, you may proceed. With pleasure. Because I think we've seen that it emits a yellow light. Thank you very much. Yellow radiant glow. Okay, we need to get to that bit. The blue glow. So here we go. Yellow glow. Objection! I feel so smart. I'm rubbish at these games, so I always feel so smart. Mr. Rudolph, you don't know much about magic, do you? Of course not. Are you trying to say I should have recognized Celeste's Mage Blade? No, I admit you probably wouldn't know about Mage Blade. But that's exactly where your mistake was. My mistake? Mr. Rudolph, if you were aware of how Mage Blade works, then you would know the spell emits a yellow radiant glow. Which means the blue glow you saw couldn't have possibly been Mage Blade. This is ridiculous. I'll grant that the witness clearly remembers seeing a blue glow, but what significance could such a minor detail have? It's extremely significant. If the witness did see a blue magical glow, then he must have witnessed another spell at the scene. Preposterous. You don't have any evidence to back up that claim. That blue light made a large impression on the witness. I'm going to quickly save in case I start losing. That blue light made a large impression on the witness. He wrote it down in his book and he specifically mentioned the colour. There's no way he would be mistaken about something like that. That's what you get. It's great to write everything down, but then also look where it gets you. What did you really see, Mr. Rudolph? Did you see my client at the scene casting a spell that she couldn't possibly cast? Or did you see another mage at the scene? Well, Your Honour, the defence has no right to accuse the witness like this. Let me remind you that perjury is a crime, Mr. Rudolph. If you are found to have lied in your testimony, you will be prosecuted. No, wait, please! Now that is quite enough of that. Here he is. The real murderer. Really? That noise as well. The ace attorney. They've took everything. Garrick Pierce suddenly steps down from the gallery and walks to the witness stand. He's breaking every possible rule in the book, but no one in the room moves to stop him. The bailiff looks to the judge nervously, but the judge just narrows his eyes and carefully watches Pierce. Pierce, meanwhile, shoves the still flustered Rudolph off of the stand and begins addressing the courtroom. What is he even doing here? I will not stand by while you harass my servant. Pierce, we discussed this. There is no need for you to take the stand. Because it's him. And what, pray tell, did they discuss? Nonsense. I have nothing to hide. And if you'd done your job properly, I wouldn't have needed to intervene. For the first time, Stillwind doesn't seem to have control of the situation. What is the meaning of this, Miss Stillwind? Who is this man? This is Garrick Pierce, Your Honour. That is Lord Garrick Pierce to you. I am the honourable heir to the Pierce noble house. In any case, I must apologise. I'm afraid that these misunderstandings are entirely my fault. What do you mean? You see, Rudolph wasn't the one who witnessed the crime that fateful night. It was me. I witnessed the crime. This would so not work. I had my driver report the body so I could remain anonymous. Are you saying you had Rudolph lie for you? I simply dictated to him what I saw and had him repeat that to law enforcement. Simply wouldn't do for a member of the nobility to appear publicly in court. Lord Pierce, regardless of your intentions, this is a very clear act of perjury. But from the look on the judge's face, you can easily tell that he won't face any actual consequences because he's a frickin' noble. Don't we hate that? I understand, and I will accept the consequences of that. But I would be remiss if Rudolph's shoddy testimony allowed that girl to escape her crimes. Please, let me testify as to what I saw that night. Very well. This is highly irregular, but I believe the court will benefit from hearing your testimony. However, know that this misconduct has hurt your credibility. Very well. Great. Just as I thought we had him in the bag. On the night of the murder, I found myself unable to sleep, so I went on a leisurely carriage ride around Cornhaven. I happened to be passing by the McCoy Tavern when I heard a loud commotion from within the building. Curious, I stopped my carriage and took singular step inside the establishment, and I saw the scene inside. I saw the defendant stabbing that poor man twice with her sword. Garrick Pierce. He's a member of the nobility. That means he's probably a mage, right? And he's the only other mage that was there that night. Does that mean... There's no doubt about it. He's the only person that could have left a trace of transmutation on the body. He has to be the mage that we're looking for. How would you not lunge across the room? Sorry, this must be a lot for you right now. Don't worry about me. Focus on taking him down. She's been so brave. My little baby. Just found out she's literally looking at the guy that killed her father. Right, save. What do I want to do? Pierce is definitely the real murderer. This means there has to be a lie somewhere. Is there any way that you can prove he was further inside the building? I don't know. Prove that he was further inside. There's the doors, and there's the murder, so he must have been much further in. Huh. I don't know. Press. And I assume you're going to say that she stabbed him from opposite sides each time? Of course. Mind you, I have no idea why she would act like that. But can you prove that she didn't do exactly what I described? Suppose not. At least not yet, anyway. Okay, that did absolutely nothing for us. Oh, okay. Well, what about the spell? I don't know, he hasn't mentioned the spell at all, you know, Mage Blade. Yeah, the sword doesn't have magical properties, so...
Objection!
That's the wrong thing. It's clear the witness's testimony is contradictory and this piece of evidence proves it. Oh god, that was the wrong thing to do. I have no idea. We're gonna present something? Present the map?
Objection!
Nope. Oh my god. Oops. God's sake. But he must have been further in because it was... I took a single step inside the establishment and I saw the scene. How if it was dark?
Objection!
Nope. I don't know. How could you see anything when it was pitch black dark?
Objection!
You don't get repercussions for this though, apparently. I have limitless lives, so that's good.
Objection!
I don't know. Do I just press everything? If he was at the tavern entrance, then that would mean he was here. Ah, crime scene map has been updated. You saw the entire scene from the tavern entrance. It would have been quite dark considering the lights weren't operational. Even if my client was using Mage Blade at the time. Of course I'd forgotten that detail. I couldn't see what was happening, so I used my magic to illuminate the scene. You used magic at the crime scene. Yeah, I remember it clearly. I conjured a blue light to illuminate the scene. That same blue light must have been what my driver saw. I thought Rudolph didn't witness the crime at all. If I had to guess, Mr. Rudolph must have seen the blue light from the carriage. God. I hate her, but she's so cute. He must have made that detail a part of his testimony earlier. That actually makes a lot of sense now that you think about it. Rudolph was so sure he saw a blue light. It would be strange if he was lying about that. But anyways, which spell did you use to illuminate the crime scene? The Conjure Light spell. Luxo. For the duration of the spell, a mote of magical light appears in the caster's hand. The colour of the light is chosen by the caster and can be changed at will. Provides illumination up to 15 feet. Your Honour, if the witness used magic at the crime scene, then I'd like for his spell compendium to be added to the court record. I see no reason to invade the witness's privacy over a trivial illumination spell. I agree. Are you kidding me? The defense would need a stronger reason to requisition the witness's spell compendium. Right you are, Your Honour. Your wisdom is truly fitting of your station. Shut up. Ugh. Why wouldn't you? It's the spell compendium. Just give it up. Jesus. From here I clearly saw the crime unfold. Up to 15 feet away.
Objection!
God. Don't do that. Jesus Christ. Thank you. Thank you. God. Lord Pierce, you said that you illuminated the scene from the tavern entrance. My mum came in. It's pitch black in here. Scared the shit out of me. And you only took a single step into the building? Of course. I remember it very clearly. I stood only at the entrance. In that case, I'd like for you to take a look at the map of the tavern. If we take a look, that would place you right here where the W is. Am I correct? Of course I was. I don't know what you wish to achieve by having me repeat that fact. Well, I find it interesting that you illuminated the crime scene from all the way back there, considering Conjure Light only illuminates an area within 15 feet. What? The spell's range is irrelevant. We've already established that the victim would have been illuminated by Mage Blade. During his testimony, Lord Pierce clearly stated that he couldn't see what was happening. That's why he cast Conjure Light in the first place. However, Conjure Light doesn't work like a normal source of light. It only provides illumination up to 15 feet of the caster and no further. If he had stayed at the entrance, his spell wouldn't have done anything to help illuminate the scene. But what does this mean? Lord Pierce, did you illuminate the crime scene or not? Well, I can answer that question for you, Your Honour. Lord Pierce did illuminate the scene of the crime. He illuminated it because he was standing right where it happened. Mr. Cuthbert, are you trying to say that Lord Pierce was that close to where the murder occurred? How would that be possible? There's only one way this scenario would make sense, Your Honour. And that would be if Garrick Pierce was the one who murdered Flintheart McCoy. I'm doing my toe tapping now. The funky music. Hold on for a moment. This is absurd. I could have easily used a different spell to illuminate the room. And which spell would that be, Pierce? The name escapes me. I'm not sure which one it was now that I think about it. Idiot. Well, maybe we can figure it out together. When you relinquish your spell compendium to the court. What? This is a clear violation of my privacy. Steelwind, why are you objecting to this? If you had listened to my instructions, you wouldn't be in this situation. You've made your bed. Now lie in it. I love her. I hate her and I love her. Steelwind, you treacherous... Thank you. Hand it over. That's enough. It appears that the prosecution has no objections. With everything that has occurred, I must ask that Lord Pierce relinquish his spell compendium to the court. Following spells. Prestidigitation? Conjure Light, Conjure Water, Frost Wave, and Shape Liquid. Okay. A simple and harmless visual effect. Okay, interesting. Water magically flows out of the caster's hand. Anything caught within range is hit with a blast of extremely cold air. Liquids hit will be immediately frozen and organic life will enter stages of hypothermia. While concentrating on this spell, the caster can magically manipulate up to 10 litres of liquid and form it into complex shapes. At any time, the caster can choose to freeze the liquid and solidify its current shape. While frozen, the caster can also choose to make the liquid instantaneously melt. Good job, Tyrion. We got his spell compendium. With that, this case is as good as yours. Or is it? She didn't even try to stop you from taking his spell compendium. She wouldn't let that happen just to spite Pierce. She definitely still has something up her sleeve. Unfortunately, I think you're right. Alright, give me a second. Your Honor, I've looked at all the spells in the compendium. Conjure Light is the only spell that he can cast that would shed a blue light. This renders his testimony and many of his statements false. You can practically hear Lord Pierce grinding his teeth. You can see it too. Your Honour, Lord Pierce could very well be a suspect in the murder of Flintheart McCoy. The defence argues that this presents enough reasonable doubt to acquit the defendant. I acknowledge that Lord Pierce's actions are quite suspect. However, I will not pass a verdict just yet. There is much more we need to learn. What? That's not how it works. We proved that there's reasonable doubt. That should be enough to acquit me, right? In a normal case, maybe, but it's different for this trial. The public won't accept an unsolved homicide involving magic. Unless we can unequivocally prove your innocence, the court will keep drawing out this case. What? But that's not fair. It's just how the system works. Our court system doesn't exist to exact justice. It exists so that the kingdom can save face. No. However, the court will be suspending the trial of Celeste McCoy until further notice. That is, until Lord Pierce can be investigated as a possible suspect.
Objection!
Oh? A possible suspect? What is happening? I was like, yay, we're gonna get another investigation day. The very idea of that is preposterous, Your Honour. Damn it, you knew she was planning something. Let's revisit the basic facts of this case, shall we? Flintheart McCoy was murdered using a blade with a transmutation spell active on it. Mr. Cuthbert, why don't you tell me the spells that Lord Pierce knows? Alright. His spells are Prestidigitation, Conjure Light, Conjure Water, Frost Wave, and Shape Liquid. You've realised it too, haven't you? Lord Pierce doesn't know any transmutation spells that can be channeled through a solid object. What? That can't be right. They've got Shape Liquid though. Ha! You're right. You're absolutely right, Lady Steelwind. Look at that face. I got a screenshot. I couldn't have possibly committed the murder. I see. With that in mind, that would leave the defendant as the only possible killer. But he was the only other mage there. He has to be the real murderer. But he doesn't know any transmutation spells that can affect a solid object. We can't prove that he stabbed him while casting magic. Wait a minute. How did he do it then? She's right. How did he do it? If there are traces of transmutation magic on the wound, then Flintheart was definitely stabbed by something magical. But none of his spells affect a steel blade. Does that mean he used something else? He used the Shape Liquid to make Shape Liquid or Frost Wave or something to make a sword. Oh my god, I think he crafted a sword. The defence did cast some doubt on this witness's testimony. Nevertheless, I must conclude that he couldn't have possibly committed the murder. With that in mind... Please wait, Your Honour. We still can't conclude that Lord Pierce couldn't have committed the crime. He used Shape Liquid. What are you on about? Lady Steelwind said it herself, you commoner. I don't know any spells that can be channeled through a metal blade. He's right, which can only mean one thing. It wasn't a metal blade. You didn't use a metal blade, did you? What nonsense is this? The autopsy report clearly states that the wound was created by a blade. If he didn't channel magic, how could he have possibly committed the crime? Yes, your claim seems quite contrary to the facts thus far, Mr. Cuthbert. Which spell did Lord Pierce use to commit murder? It's got to be Shape Liquid. Hit with a blast of extremely cold air, Liquid's hit will be immediately frozen. Maybe that then. Magically manipulate up to 10 litres of liquid and form it into complex shapes? Shape Liquid then? I don't know. That one. You see, Your Honour. Garrick Pierce didn't kill the victim using a sword. He killed him using an object shaped exactly like a sword. What? I'm afraid I don't quite understand, Mr. Cuthbert. I'd like for the court to take a look at Lord Pierce's spell compendium. Garrick Pierce knows a seemingly insignificant spell called Shape Liquid. With it, he can control a body of water and shape it into any complex shape he wants. Oh my god, he used the lotus juice. The special drink that shared between Celeste and her dad, he's used that to make a sword and kill the dad with. Things just keep getting worse for this girl. As if she's not upset enough. And now this. Then he can freeze that liquid, maintaining its current shape. A shape like a sword. What? No. Is it possible that he... What do you have to say for yourself, Lord Pierce? What do I have to say? Pierce's breathing becomes more frantic. He's clearly not used to being put in a corner like this. You can see his stress and frustration emanating through the eye of Horus. You have him now. Time for the finishing blow. Argument! I'll tell you exactly what I have to say, you commoner. I'm not the one on trial here. We're here because that bastard child didn't know her place. Oh god, okay, can I save? Can I save quickly? That's the main menu. I don't think I can save. I should have known I wouldn't be able to save now. She's just a peasant, yet she's still learned the arcane arts. And look what happened. I saw the murder. I witnessed everything. That girl used our holy arts to murder her father in a fit of rage. I saw the murder. I witnessed everything. Clearly you didn't. I don't know. What, the fact that the lights weren't on? You've already proved that he didn't in the last testimony. We're just gonna prove he didn't witness everything? How do I prove he didn't witness everything? And how, pray tell, did you see everything? Oh, from the entrance. If you recall, you testified that you only took a single step inside, but you would have needed to be within 15 feet to see my client with conjure light. This again? If you're going to keep trading on that one detail, then I admit it, I stepped further into the inn. I kept that detail out of my testimony, all because I knew you'd use it to cast suspicion on me. Lord Pierce. Young man. But you didn't just keep that detail from your testimony, did you? You testified the opposite. That makes you guilty of committing perjury. No, I mean... Ugh, you miserable wretch. Garrick Pierce has openly admitted to committing perjury. His lies haven't gone unnoticed. And let's not stop there. For your story to be true, you would have needed to be within 15 feet of my client. According to your testimony, my client had just finished committing a murder. Wouldn't she have noticed you? If you were that close, then you would have surely been close enough to apprehend her. So why didn't you? Don't you have a duty to your citizens? I love him. Shut up. Shut your dirty peasant mouth. That woman was armed. I had no reason to put my life in danger. She was wielding her sword after the murder. I was terrified when I saw her holding that bloody sword. Oh, God. My life was in danger. Oh, God. What are we gonna put here? So what did he say? She was wielding her sword. Don't you freaking love the music? The sword was in him, though. It's gotta be that. But that can't be right, can it, Lord Pierce? This photo of the crime scene shows that the sword was left in the victim's body. How could she still be wielding her sword if she left it there? What? Damn you! Steelwind, why aren't you saying anything? What? Prosecutor Steelwind has lost her usual air of confidence. You find it strange, though. Even when you had the advantage, she always maintained her usual poise. Because she knows. She knows it's him. How can I remain calm when this charlatan is trying to frame me? This is a complete travesty of our justice system. I'm here to reveal the truth and testify. And what do we get instead? Slander from some lowly defense attorney. Well, you just openly committed perjury. So how can we trust anything you say? You talk about justice, but you've committed several acts of perjury to twist the outcome of this trial. You're clearly not acting in good faith. You don't care about justice, you just want to further your agenda. So admit it, Pierce. You created a makeshift sword using shaped liquid and you used it to impale Flintheart. You shoved my client's sword into the wound while the remnants of the real murder weapon evaporated. It was a perfect crime, wasn't it? Oh God, no, not the... It's always happens in Ace Attorney as well, where everybody loses their composure because they know they've been cornered. And they start going a little delulu. Lord Pierce, my apologies, Your Honour. It's just that I realised something absolutely hilarious. What? Has he finally lost his mind? The defence put forward an interesting theory, but there's one problem with it. And what's that? I think you said it yourself. You shoved Celeste's sword into the wound while the remnants of the real murder weapon evaporated. You see, it would have been a perfect crime, because any evidence to support that theory would have evaporated in the frozen blade. We can't prove it. How are we going to prove it? No! He's right. If he used an ice blade to kill Flintheart, it would have evaporated by now. And that means there would be nothing left of the murder weapon. Because it was the lotus juice. You've spun quite the tale here today. But in the end, you don't have a shred of evidence to support it, do you? You have nothing on me. Isn't there anything we can do? You become quiet. Tyrion? Why isn't he saying anything? Is it really hopeless? But all it takes is one look at the expression on your face. Any worries she has instantly disappears, because she realizes the expression on your face is the same expression you made every time you defeated her. What is this? You can glare at me all you want. It won't change the fact that you've lost. I despise people like you. You twist the system to serve your own ends. You trample on the lives of innocent people. But as long as I'm here, I will never let that happen again.
Naught can remain concealed.
Oh, I love that. Empowered eye. I didn't take a screenshot. Ugh. What did I just do? Your head feels like it's about to burst. The pain is unbearable and overwhelming. But at the same time, you feel an extreme sense of clarity. As if you can see more than you could before. Can't believe that peasant pushed me this far. Once again, you see Pierce's thoughts through the eye of Horus. But this sensation feels different from how it usually is. It's more intense and potent this time. It's almost as if you can do more than just read his surface thoughts. Empowered Eye. You've activated the Empowered Eye. With it, you'll be able to do more than see the witness's thoughts. You'll also be able to affect what they think about. Project items into his mind to evoke thoughts from him. You'll want to project items that make him think about the murder. Evoking the right thoughts will raise your insight. And then you'll have everything you need to implicate him. The juice? Why am I thinking of such a thing? Project pieces of evidence related to the murder. What an ornate sword. I wonder how a commoner like her obtained such a thing. I wonder if the Inquisition will let me have it once this girl is convicted. The autopsy? No? I'm gonna save quickly. In case anything goes wrong. The perjury? No. The spell. After all the trouble I went to, I can't believe the lawyer figured out the spell I used. No matter, it's not as if there's any evidence to prove that I used it. I'm lucky that old fool had that bottle of water with him. Lotus juice. Water from a bottle? Wait, a bottle? No, he was murdered with it. Well then, as riveting as this has been, I believe it's time for me to take my leave. Now wait a minute, Pierce. What is it now, you wretch? I'll say it as many times as you need to hear. There is no evidence of liquefied weapon at the crime scene. Lotus juice. You're right, Pierce. If you did use shaped liquid on a body of water, the murder weapon would have evaporated entirely. It seems you've finally gotten that, you thick head. Bravo. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, Pierce. What if you didn't use shaped liquid on a body of water? What if it was another type of liquid? What are you going on about? Pierce, shaped liquid doesn't just work on water. It works on all kinds of liquids. This shattered bottle contained the liquid that you cast your spell on, didn't it? You show him the picture of the shattered bottle of lotus juice. That bottle. Pierce, I found this shattered bottle on the ground near the victim's body. I wonder what caused it to shatter. You must have decided to use any liquid you could find. Luckily for you, the victim was holding the perfect quantity of liquid in his hands. I wonder, Lord Pierce, if we had someone analyse the broken pieces of this bottle, would we find traces of transmutation magic? I love him. You little... That still proves nothing. So what if there are traces of magic on the shattered bottle? You still don't have a murder weapon. I wasn't finished, Pierce. What? You see, the liquid contained in this bottle wasn't water. It was soda. So, what difference does that make? A blade of ice made of water would have evaporated entirely. But a blade of ice made out of soda would leave a puddle of dried residue, which I think we do have. Like, if I have a look at the crime scene. All over the floor. I think. Well, that might be the spell. I don't know. But it's there. I wonder why there was such a circular trace of magic under the body. If we check the outline of the trace, I bet we'd find a dried puddle of soda residue. That would prove you used your magic on the soda. There's your murder weapon, Pierce. I love him. I love him so much. And that's checkmate. Not quite, because we've got to actually get it checked, but yeah. Bailiff, tell Aurum to analyse the crime scene at once. We must determine if this puddle of soda residue exists. The time window to find traces of magic is closing. Oh, here we are. We had our team search the crime scene. I really can't believe it, but we found it. In fact, the outline of the dried soda lines up exactly with the outline of the trace of transmutation magic. We checked the broken bottle too. There were traces of transmutation magic on it as well. There's no doubt about it. Someone used magic on the soda. I see. Thank you, Aurum. Please escort Lord Pierce back to the stand. Ah, what a relief. What do you have to say for yourself, Pierce? Oh, he's going down. What do you think you've accomplished here today? Do you honestly think you can indict me? I'm an aristocrat from the highest echelons of our society. That fool of a man was an insurgent. He was a threat to society, and I did my civic duty by removing him.
Objection!
Bailiff, please escort the witness to a holding cell. Oh, Steelwind! First-degree murder is punishable by execution, Lord Pierce. I suggest you remain silent, lest you incriminate yourself further. You can't be serious. Shut your insidious mouth. I love her. Well, what are you all waiting for? Take him away. Yes, take him away at once. Yeah, I don't think he needs to be... Well, he did kill. If you kill, you should be killed. If it's like a murder, deliberate murder. I can't believe it. We actually won. Tyrion, It's alright. It's all she can do to hold back her tears. You don't need to say anything. Your face says it all. Thank you. You've more than exceeded my expectations today. Miss Tamura! I'll be honest. When I realised that the murder weapon evaporated, I thought the case was shot. I can't believe you were able to turn that around. It was just luck. If he had used water, we would have been done for. It had nothing to do with luck. You were able to deduce which liquid he used. And you did it just by looking at a few shards of broken glass. Your skills of deduction never cease to amaze me. It's not exactly true, but with Celeste there, you can't tell her about your new ability. You were all quite lively. Oh, the expanded, like, Eye of Horus. There's no need for such hostility. Screenshots. Though I wouldn't expect any less from the Hound of the Eye Taker. What? What did she mean by that? You glance at Miss Tamura, but when she meets your gaze, she immediately looks away. Ah, what's going on here then? She looks like she's focusing. Almost as if to protect herself from a certain eye. I must admit, I was hoping to test my blade against you directly. However, your protégé proved to be a worthy adversary. I thought she meant stab her then. It's like, why would you openly admit to that? Thank you? Is this some kind of game to you? You talk about trials as if there's some kind of competition. Your action almost condemned an innocent woman to death. Our system operates by having two powers of opposition. When those powers are balanced, justice prevails. Make no mistake, your victory today was just our system working as intended. Working as intended. You know very well our system only exists to protect your people. I know. What? Her people? Or because she's noble too? In any case, it looks like we'll be facing each other much more frequently in the future. I look forward to doing battle with you again, Tyrion Cuthbert. What a strange girl. Well, that kind of killed the mood, didn't it? Not at all. I think we should celebrate. Oh, what did you have in mind? There's this amazing restaurant in the upper quarter of the capital city. They usually only serve nobles, but they let anyone in if they have enough gold. Wait, do we have enough gold? Of course we do. Don't worry about the details. Is she taking Pierce's money or something? Why isn't Celeste like more upset that her gift from her father was what was used to murder him? Like, that would destroy me. Wait, just how much money does Miss Tamora make? What does she work as? On the side. And so began my journey into the world of lore and magic. Does she do drugs? Does she deal drugs? Our justice system is rotten to its core, and I'll have many trials ahead. Regardless, I'll keep fighting on and get justice for every one of my clients. Episode ends. Heck yeah. This feeling, I knew it. His radiant soul has finally awakened. Oh god, we're not done. I can't believe it. I've been waiting for so long. Is this the person in the dream again? I can't wait for the day when I see his eyes draped in agony. Is this that girl in my dreams? Oh god, no. Did I save? Oh, I finished the episode, so I guess it's probably done it itself. Oh my god. We're done with episode 1. I'm so sad. If I say new game, how many cases are there? Just the 3? There's only 3? Yeah, I can't scroll. Oh. How many is there? 4, 5. There's 5. I feel better. I can't have this game be over. It's so good. I hope you all enjoyed it. It is such a good game. It's like on, not quite on par with like Ace Attorney, I guess. I mean, I'm only 1 episode in. Obviously I'll always love Ace Attorney. That'll always have my heart. But this is actually so good. It needs to be talked about more. It's a proper rival for the Attorney series. It is great. So I hope you all are enjoying it. Let me know what your favourite part of this case was in the episode down below, and if you'd like to see me do the next couple of episodes on the channel. And yeah, take care of yourselves, take your meds, stay hydrated and all that funky jazz. You can check out my socials. I'm at Oddlydew pretty much everywhere on the internet. And I will see you guys very soon for the next episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the episode, please don't forget to leave a like or consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And I'll see y'all soon in episode 2 of Tyrion Cuthbert, Attorney of the Arcane. Bye!